On a cold December night in 2011, 13-year-old Erica Parsons seemed to disappear without a trace. Her parents told everyone she had gone to live with her biological grandmother, but something about their story didn't sit right. As investigators started asking questions, strange details began to surface. Mysteries involving bruises, missing time, and a plastic tote that couldn't be ignored. What really happened to Erica, and why did it take years for the truth to finally come out? This is the heartbreaking story of a girl who was silenced but whose story refused to stay buried. Erica Lynn Parsons entered the world on February 28, 1998. Born to Carolyn Parsons at just 4 pounds 7 ounces, Erica was a tiny but spirited baby. However, Carolyn faced a heartbreaking decision just days after Erica's birth. Financially unable to provide for her, Carolyn chose adoption, hoping to secure a brighter future for her daughter. Erica's biological father was absent, but Carolyn's former brother-in-law and sister-in-law, Sandy and Casey Parsons, stepped forward to adopt Erica. Carolyn had grown up in foster care and dreamed of something better for Erica. At just 4 weeks old, Erica joined the Parsons household, becoming part of their growing family. Officially, the adoption was finalized in 2000, though Sandy later claimed it happened in July rather than March. Casey Parsons fondly recounted those early days, saying, "We had her from 4 weeks old. By the time the adoption was finalized, she was calling us Mama and Daddy. We were the only parents she knew." Sandy and Casey had their own tumultuous history. They married sometime in the early 1990s and welcomed 3 biological children: Sandy Jr. in 1992, James in 1993, and Brooke in 1995. However, reports of domestic violence plagued their marriage. Sandy faced convictions for assaulting Casey in both 1994 and 1997, with court-ordered probation and community service. Despite this, they remained together, and their household grew with the addition of Erica. In 2001, Casey ventured into surrogacy, advertising herself online. She connected with Amy Miller, who hired her to carry a child. The arrangement began promisingly but quickly unraveled. After 6 weeks of pregnancy, Casey informed Amy of a miscarriage, only to cut off communication entirely. Later, Amy discovered evidence suggesting Casey had planned to keep the baby and had solicited money from other prospective adoptive parents. Legal threats and an FBI investigation forced Casey to relinquish the child after birth, raising serious questions about her motivations as a surrogate. Meanwhile, concerns about Erica's safety emerged. In 2002, social services began investigating allegations of abuse in the Parsons home, dating back to when Erica was just 2 years old. These suspicions added to the growing unease surrounding the family's treatment of their adopted daughter. The Department of Social Services launched an investigation into claims that Erica Parsons had been physically abused. A report alleged that Casey Parsons often carried a belt and used it to discipline Erica, leaving bruises. The report described marks on Erica's buttocks, the back of her leg, and the side of her face. It was also alleged that Erica refused to eat at times and that Casey had told her she didn't love her. When the Department of Social Services interviewed Casey, she denied the accusations of abuse. The investigator observed that Erica didn't appear to fear her parents and even sat on their laps without hesitation. No visible injuries, such as cuts or bruises, were found during the investigation. However, Erica was noted to be very small for her age, weighing just 41 pounds at 4 years old. To address the situation, a safety plan was implemented. Casey and Sandy Parsons agreed to use non-physical discipline methods such as timeouts and groundings and promised to provide a safe and stable home. On March 1, 2003, Casey traveled to Mexico for a medical procedure to reverse her tubal ligation. Later that year, in August, Erica enrolled at Boston Elementary School. Staff members remembered her as a shy but sweet child who smiled often and loved stickers. One teacher recalled how Erica would brush her bangs out of her eyes when she felt anxious and beam with pride when praised. In January 2004, Casey announced in an online post that she was pregnant with a due date in September of that year. Around this time, another Department of Social Services complaint was filed, leading authorities to visit the Parsons home. This complaint claimed that Erica was frail, Casey no longer wanted her, and the parents had tried to give her away. Casey and Sandy denied using physical punishment, explaining that they raised their voices rather than hitting their children. They also stated that Erica had gastrointestinal issues that caused her to vomit food she didn't like and denied threatening to withhold food or trying to give her away. When the Department of Social Services interviewed Erica alone, she described her discipline as timeouts or losing privileges. She said she might get spanked if she did something very bad. Erica appeared happy and well bonded with her adoptive parents, but investigators noted her small stature and frailty. The Department of Social Services required the Parsons to seek medical care if Erica's eating issues persisted or her development lagged. Despite this, neglect was substantiated as Erica wasn't receiving the necessary medical attention. She was placed with an aunt, who observed that Erica wore clothing meant for toddlers and was severely underweight. Living with her aunt, Erica began eating, playing, and gaining weight. She also confided that Casey and Sandy had physically disciplined her. However, the aunt didn't pursue legal custody, and after 8 months, Casey and Sandy regained custody of Erica. In 2004, Erica transferred to another elementary school, and on August 20th, Casey gave birth to a daughter. By 2005, Casey was pregnant again but reported an early miscarriage. She then started a business called Carolina Tail Waggers, which some sources described as a Chihuahua puppy mill, though details remain sparse. Later that year, Erica began homeschooling through the Parson Christian Homeschool, a program Casey created at their home. Casey was listed as the chief administrator, and the state did not conduct background checks or require detailed progress reports from the school. Records show it enrolled 3 female students and 1 male, but there were no submissions of annual achievement test scores from 2005 onward. Information about Erica became scarce. Then, on July 30, 2013, Erica's then 19-year-old brother, Jamie Parsons, had a fight with his parents, whereupon he reported Erica missing. He described to officers that his parents had told him back in December 2011 that Erica had gone to visit her biological grandmother. Jamie explained that he had always felt the story seemed odd, especially since his father Sandy appeared unusually distressed when discussing Erica's absence. Jamie recounted his father looking pale and anxious, whiter than a piece of paper. Jim's thoughts turned to the last time he saw Erica. She was 13 years old and had seemed unwell. Jamie remembered her looking gray and exhausted. She reportedly told Casey, "I can't breathe," but Casey dismissed her, telling her to get back in the corner. The next morning, Jamie woke up and Erica was gone. When he asked his parents about her, they claimed they had taken Erica to Asheville, North Carolina, to live with her biological grandmother, whom they said had reached out on Facebook to reconnect with her granddaughter. Jamie explained to authorities that this was the last he had heard about Erica. An investigation into Erica's disappearance was launched immediately. Detectives searched the Parsons home thoroughly, pulling up floorboards, probing the yard for signs of clandestine graves, and exploring every lead. Despite their efforts, Erica's whereabouts remained a mystery. Tips and reports flooded in, including alleged sightings of Erica along the roadside and calls from psychics, but none led to concrete answers. The FBI joined the search, offering rewards and generating national attention. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children created an age progression photo of Erica, transforming an image of her at age 9 into what she might look like at 15. These photos were widely circulated on billboards in hopes of gathering new leads. Authorities were determined not to fail. Erica's parents, Casey and Sandy, claimed to investigators that they last saw Erica in December 2011 at a McDonald's in Mooresville, North Carolina. They stated they had taken Erica to meet her biological grandmother, who they alleged had contacted them on Facebook. According to the Parsons, they had traveled with one of their daughters to hand Erica over, but when investigators spoke with the girl, she denied being part of the trip. Investigators also found that Casey and Sandy could not provide any contact information for Erica's grandmother, not even the Facebook profile they claimed she had used to reach out. The lead investigator worked tirelessly to locate Erica's grandmother. He searched for individuals with her name in Asheville but found no evidence of anyone connected to Erica. By August 2013, detectives publicly announced their belief that the story about Erica's grandmother was fabricated. They revealed that Sandy and Casey were not cooperating with the investigation. Around the same time, Erica's biological mother, Carolyn Parsons, flew from New Orleans to North Carolina to assist investigators. On the same day, Casey and Sandy appeared on the Dr. Phil show, claiming they believed Erica was not missing but was simply a rebellious teenager who no longer wanted to communicate with them. On the show, Casey stated that Erica's grandmother had told her that Erica refused to return home after staying with her for 2 months. Casey claimed she had tried to contact Erica's grandmother, but the phone number was no longer active. She interpreted this as Erica blocking their number. Despite their appearance on national television, Casey and Sandy maintained that they had been exemplary parents and insisted that Erica was safe. They denied any wrongdoing and blamed Erica's supposed disappearance on teenage rebellion. However, investigators remained skeptical as their story had glaring inconsistencies. In September 2013, Casey allowed media into her home, showing them Erica's former bedroom. By this point, the public and authorities were increasingly doubtful of Casey and Sandy's narrative. The search for Erica continued with growing concerns about what may have happened to her after her last confirmed sighting in 2011. Detectives working on Erica Parsons' case had long suspected that Casey and Sandy Parsons were hiding critical information. Their instincts told them that separating the couple might lead to the truth, as Casey appeared to exert significant control over Sandy. However, keeping the two apart seemed nearly impossible until investigators uncovered a crucial mistake. The Parsons had continued collecting adoption assistance and food stamp benefits for Erica, even though she had not been in their custody for 2 years. These federal benefits, intended for Erica's care, became the key to involving the FBI. By 2014, Sandy and Casey Parsons were arrested on 76 counts of federal fraud and identity theft. The jury rejected Sandy's defense that Casey had masterminded the scheme and that he was unaware of the household finances. In March 2015, the couple received a combined sentence of 18 years in federal prison for their crimes. Despite the convictions, Erica remained missing. In 2016, a major breakthrough came from Sandy Parsons himself. After more than 3 years of maintaining a web of lies, Sandy finally confessed. He admitted that Erica had died 5 years earlier at the age of 13. Investigators escorted Sandy to rural Chesterfield, South Carolina, an area tied to Casey's past. There, within minutes, Sandy pointed to the shallow grave where he and Casey had buried Erica. The detectives described Sandy's demeanor during the confession as somber and tearful. Sandy recounted the events leading up to Erica's death. In December 2011, he woke to Casey telling him that Erica had died. Casey had placed Erica's body in a plastic tote, where it remained for 2 days as the couple decided what to do. During that time, the family went about their lives, even attending a Christmas party. The couple eventually transported Erica's remains to the Chesterfield County site before burying her. They poured bleach over her body in an attempt to conceal evidence and avoid detection. They removed the batteries from their phones during their trips to the burial location, once to dig the grave and a second time to dispose of Erica's remains. After nearly 5 years of concealment, Erica's body was finally recovered. Detective Moose personally oversaw the recovery of Erica's remains. He ensured her dignity was respected in death, something she had tragically been denied in life. Erica's remains were placed in a body bag, left unzipped so she would no longer be left in the dark. Detective Moose even added a stuffed animal to the bag as Erica's remains were transported back to Rowan County. Erica's discovery brought closure to a case that had haunted the community, and she was finally laid to rest with the love and care she deserved. As one investigator put it, Erica got more love from the community than she ever did from her adoptive family. Investigators suspected from the start that Casey Parsons orchestrated much of what happened to Erica. They withheld the discovery of Erica's remains in 2016, hoping Casey would confess on her own. When questioned, Casey adamantly denied any involvement. "I've never been there," she stated repeatedly, dismissing any accusations of abuse or wrongdoing. Yet, the truth was undeniable. Erica's remains told a haunting story of prolonged and systematic abuse. On October 14, 2016, Erica's remains were sent to the medical examiner, who spent 3 months meticulously examining her skeleton. The findings were devastating. Erica had endured severe and chronic abuse, with injuries ranging across her body, her face, torso, back, and limbs. She had multiple fractures, including broken bones in her shoulder blades and ribs that had partially healed before being broken again. Some of these injuries indicated long-term trauma, with new bone growth attempting to repair the damage. It was clear Erica had been subjected to relentless physical violence. Her brother, Jimmy Parsons, confirmed the extent of the abuse during interviews. He recalled Erica being beaten regularly, often with belts or even remote controls. He also described friendly reminders, a cruel term Casey used for bending Erica's fingers back until they nearly touched her wrist. Erica suffered more than just physical violence. She was systematically starved, with food withheld for extended periods. Her growth was stunted so severely that her bones were the length expected for a 9-year-old, even though she was 13 at the time of her death. This combination of abuse and starvation was classified as torture, a level of cruelty rarely seen in child abuse cases. Family photos provided another window into Erica's suffering. While her siblings appeared happy and carefree in pictures, Erica was often captured standing apart, facing a corner. These images starkly symbolized the isolation and neglect she endured. The contrast between her siblings' joy and her mistreatment is profoundly heartbreaking. On June 18, 2017, Erica was finally laid to rest in a funeral organized and paid for by the Rowan County community. Hundreds attended, determined to give Erica the love and respect she never received in life. By February 20, 2018, Casey and Sandy Parsons were charged with first-degree murder, felony child abuse, and concealing Erica's death. Casey ultimately pled guilty on August 2, 2019, admitting to Erica's murder and child abuse. Her court statement was cold and detached, offering little insight into her motivations. She expressed regret but showed no genuine remorse. "I don't know why I did what I did," Casey claimed, adding, "I failed Erica horribly." Sandy also pled guilty to second-degree murder and child abuse, but his motivations were equally unclear. He reportedly believed he had negotiated a deal with the FBI to reduce his sentence, a claim investigators later denied. Both Casey and Sandy remain incarcerated, serving sentences for both fraud and Erica's murder. Casey, currently in a Florida prison, will begin her life sentence for murder in 2024. Sandy, held in New Jersey, is serving 33 to 43 years for Erica's death and will be eligible for parole at age 82. The Parsons' motives remain elusive, but their actions suggest a level of cruelty and neglect that defies comprehension. Erica was treated as less than human, subjected to unimaginable suffering at the hands of those who were supposed to protect her. As her community remembers her and seeks justice, the hope remains that policies and systems will improve to prevent such tragedies from happening again. Erica, now at peace, will not be forgotten. Thanks for tuning in to Unreal True Crime. If you're intrigued by mysteries from around the world, check out our new channel, Latin Crimes, where we dive into the gripping true crime stories of Latin America. Don't miss out. Subscribe now for more thrilling investigations.